Rise and shine, beloved. Come on in. Let's go. Let's go. Take this moment. Tag your friends. Tag your family. Let them know Spiritual Success TV is live and we are here. And today is all about hypervigilance versus spiritual discernment. So with that being said, come on in. Let's gather our hearts and mind. Give me a second. I'm just trying to get this up on Facebook. Yep. Give it a minute. And we are ready to go. There it goes. Let me put a grand rising up here in the comments to get the comments going today. We're going to be interactive. Let's go. Let's go. There you go. All right. So with that being said, come on in. Come on in. We are ready to go. Take one good breath in to center yourself, anchor yourself. We are here and we are ready to go. Today, I want to further the agenda of where we are and where we're traveling so that we are always coming back to practical application. And so today, we want to really dive into nervous system management. If it's one thing that I'm learning as we continue to journey on this path, the awakened path, is that you are continuously evolving. Come on in, great grand rising, come on in. So let's look at this. I'm going to look at the notes from the email that you should have gotten. Great grand rising, Reese, thanks for joining us live. As I said, one thing I'm learning more and more that we have to take so serious. We have to always keep circling back and coming back to anchoring ourselves in nervous system management, because that's the name of the game. That is the name of the game. And so it doesn't matter how much you want to say positive affirmations. It doesn't matter how much you just know something in theory or understand it. We have to come back to really anchoring ourselves and managing the nervous system. Can you put that in your notes? Managing that nervous system. All right. So we want to go back. So we were talking about over the last few weeks, we revisited intentional anchors, right? We talked about the sacred crossroad. And last week we spent time really focusing in on the body, commanding the body to come into harmonic resonance, right? With the 7.83 hertz, that is the frequency of the earth, which says that we're grounded. When you are grounded, beloved, you are at ease and you are at peace in your body. So today, I want to talk about something important, and I want to look at the notes because I do this from time to time to make sure I get in what I really want to get in, all right? So let's look at this. Put in your notes, hypervigilism. That's Hyper. Vigilance, hypervigilance versus spiritual discernment. Now, hypervigilance, hear this, is a state of heightened alertness. Follow me. But when you are heightened in this alertness, you are scanning for danger. Yes, that's it, Reese. I'm telling you, girl, I'm with you. I'm working hard and managing my nervous system, which is a constant battle for me. I am right with you, and let's call it now. Let's call it a beautiful dance. Okay, let's reframe and tweak from battle. Let's just upgrade the vibration of what we're saying and call it a beautiful dance. And I'm right with you, girl. I'm right with you. Why I keep coming back for this. So I just really stretch my hand in your direction today over this whole community, knowing that we are in this together. So now watch this. When you're hypervigilant, you're always looking and scanning, but you're scanning for danger. Watch this. When you are in hypervigilance, the alertness is scanning for danger that's been rooted in trauma. Yes, it is. I love it. See, I love that you put that all in caps and exclamation point. Yes, it is a beautiful dance. Some days we dance slow, some days we dance fast. Some days we just pretend to dance. It's a beautiful dance, all right? Hypervigilance, you could put this in your note, is a state of heightened alertness, but scanning for danger, often rooted in trauma, sometimes PTSD or chronic stress. The nervous system remains in overdrive. Come on, put that in your notes. The nervous system remains in overdrive, interpreting, watch this, neutral situations as threats. So in other words, when you're in hypervigilance, you're always looking and scanning for danger, for what's a threat. And you could be in normal situations and you will view that as a threat. So when you are in hypervigilance, that is a vibration, that is a lower vibration that's rooted in fear. It's a lower dimension of fear, control, and anticipating harm. I used to tell you this all the time. Number one, check your programming. So in the title, I asked the question, where are you? Vigilance versus spiritual discernment. Where are you? Right? Check your programming. So when you're in this heightened stress and trauma and you're constantly scanning, come on, we may have been there. We may know people that live there. This might be you. Remember, there's no shame. This is about awareness, right? No matter the pace of the dance, I am in the lead. We could breathe right there. Beautiful. I want to put this up so they can see this when they come back for the replay. No matter the pace of the dance, I'm in the lead. I love that. Beautiful declaration. Yes. All right. So let's go further. So now, when we look at the esoteric definition of hypervigilance, it's the soul's energy locked in survival frequency. See, I'm bringing everything together. Remember, I told you there are two modes that we are in, that everything in the nervous system, the brain, the heart connects to. We're either in survival frequency or we're in creation frequency. One out the two. When we are stuck or locked in survival frequency, there's a distortion in your auric field, in this whole spiritual energetic field that extends outside of the physical body. There's a distortion there where attention becomes tethered, tied to, or locked into lower dimensions of fear, control, and anticipated harm. Remember, I told you this, beloved. Please put this in your notes. Don't have faith in attack or lack. I want to say it again. You don't want to have your faith invested in fear of lack or attack. So when we're hypervigilant and we're always scanning and looking for danger or threat, that's having faith in attack. Where you believe something is attacking you, something is after you. It's a witch, it's a warlock, it's a demon, it's my mother, it's my father, it's my sister, it's, and it goes on and on. So when we look at this, and we don't want to have faith in attack, and we don't want to have faith in lack, fear of lack, scarcity. I create and thrive. Absolutely, Racy. I'm not just surviving. I create and then you thrive in that creation. Absolutely. And that is the name of the game. And we're doing it my way. You're doing it your way. I'm doing it my way. Right? So when we're in this survival frequency, what's being affected negatively is your third eye, your center of intuition, the soul house of intuition, right? And your solar plexus, the soul house that is about your power, your personal power, your confidence, your will. So when that when that third eye, your intuition, your prophetic insight, your perception is scanning for danger instead of insight. I want you to hear this. I know I'm not going to get too far today because I want to make sure that this is feeding your spirit and elevating and raising your vibration. When you are hypervigilant and your solar plexus, your center of personal power, confidence, self-worth, self-esteem is distorted, and your third eye, your intuition, your pineal gland, that's what this is, right? When that is misaligned, that third eye, your insight, that prophetic awareness is scanning for danger instead of insight. Please put that in your note. So I want you to catch yourself. This is part of the assignment this week. Notice what you're scanning for. What is the spiritual power being used for? Are you scanning for danger? Are you looking for what's not right? Who's not right? Where's the threat? Where's the danger? What's going to go wrong? What can go wrong? Or are you scanning for insight, for that divine wisdom that comes from that 5D realm of Christ consciousness, right? When the solar plexus, your personal power, is misaligned, you are contracting rather than expanding and radiating. So can't you see? It's all about really catching yourself. Remember, the assignment this week was for us to really pay attention to the body and bring it into homeostasis, bring it into harmonic resonance, right? With the earth's frequency, meaning that we are grounded, we are stable, we are secure, right? So when you are in this misalignment, it could be your ego hijacking your God self or your spirit self, where you are trusting the inner watchman, or where the inner watchman never rests. It's always moving, always thinking, always turning, and it's cutting off divine flow and trust. You get that? So when this inner, when the ego hijacks the inner self, the God self, that is when you're never resting. You're never at peace. You're cutting off flow. You're cutting off divine trust. So in esoteric language, it is an overactive root chakra. So now we talked about the root, the solar plexus, and the center of intuition. When your root chakra is not stabilized, this root chakra is about grounding, being safe in your body, being safe in the three-dimensional realm, so that your spirit is free to soar, is free to expand. When that root chakra is misaligned, it's not stabilized, or it's not influenced by faith in the unseen realm. So in other words, I want you to hear this. I want you to realize that you are safe. I'm safe here. Come on, I'm safe. Because we can only move at the speed of safety. You have to feel safe in your body. Safe. And so when I say safe, it's not so much about something, being afraid of something real. Many times this hypervigilant state will have you suspecting everything, right? Again, scanning, looking for danger. So hypervigilance, watch this now, is a sacred wound. It's a sacred wound pointing to where your soul once protected you. But in this dimension of awakening, vigilance must evolve into vision. We can be vigilant, we can be watchful, but we need that to be looking for insight, for opportunity, right? So it has to evolve into vision, shifting from scanning for threats to seeing opportunities, seeing synchronicities, seeing divine support. Now, I really want to just kind of pause here. I didn't even I may get to the definition of discernment so that we can begin to do the comparison between the two. But this right here is so loaded that I want you to take your time with this week and seeing where you're being hypervigilant. So if you struggle with anxiety and stress and you're worrying and your mind is constantly going and you notice that you don't trust people, you don't trust situations, remember this hypervigilance, at one point, it was your soul protecting you when that was a healthy thing. But somehow you went from your soul protecting you to being hypervigilant, where you start looking at everything and everybody, and you suspect everything and everybody, and you're always going. When you're in that, you're trapped in survival frequency. You're trapped in fear, your control, right? So let's look at this. Let's look at spiritual discernment so that we are really being sharp and keen. So the esoteric definition of discernment is the soul's capacity to perceive truth beyond appearances. We've talked about this before. Now, we're not talking about suspicion. We're not talking about devils and demons. When I used to teach in the School of Deliverance, level 1, we would really take time developing spiritual discernment. Discernment on the most basic level is observation. And one of the exercises we would do is we would send people out to go sit down on a park bench, go sit down in a mall, just sit down and observe and allow discernment to start kicking in. Discernment is not suspicion. Discernment doesn't get filtered through your sense of fear or your trauma. Anytime you are filtering and judging a situation based on your trauma and past experiences, you're not in discernment. You're in observation, you're in suspicion, but you're not in spiritual discernment. And I would also tell them and you know this especially in our Pentecostal apostolic churches, people was always discerning a demon. Come on and talk back to me. They was always seeing something negative on somebody. And I would tell them, if you cannot discern the human spirit, and if you cannot discern angels, and you cannot discern the spirit that is open and free and attached to God, you're not in discernment, because you should be able to see the good as well as the not so good. You shouldn't only be able to see demon, devils, witches, witchcraft, curses, hexes, and all of that stuff. That was coming out of perverseness, right? So discernment is the soul's capacity to perceive truth beyond appearances. It's the ability to distinguish between the voice of fear and the voice of the spirit, right? Between illusion and insight. Between illusion and divine essence. Between what drains life force and what advances your life force. So, beloved, in your religious experience, if you are judging everything based on religious doctrine and you cannot discern the essence of a true spirit, then you're in hypervigilance, and you're just filtering it through your religious doctrine or dogma. And that's not it. You have got to be able to see people and other platforms and other cultures and other religious persuasion and be able to discern the essence and the spirit of God. Because God is one, right? Many different ways of expressing the essence of God. You've got to be able to discern that. If you can only discern God because somebody say they're Christian or they're Muslim or they're Jewish, of the Jewish faith, or they're Hindu, if you can only discern God through the lens of your religious experience, that's not spiritual discernment. So it's about being able to discern truth. You're not scanning for fear or threats. You are scanning for insight, synchronicity, spiritual support. Let's take a breath here because I feel a big shift here. I feel a big shift. And I decree and declare that this will be your season to open up and expand. This is your time to learn how to trust, to look for the good, to look for the synchronicity, to look for the opportunity, to look for the next experience, to look for the support. Right now, come on, go with me. I feel this real strong. Right now, people are already discussing you in rooms that will be a blessing to you. People are already discussing you, and because they're discussing you, you're already blessed. You're already blessed. We only want to think up and believe up, and there are opportunities that are already set up. There are doors that are already open. The only thing we have to do is allow our frequency to match that frequency of that open door, of that increase, of the financial stability. Beloved, everything is waiting for you, waiting for me. Come on, we're all in this together. Everything is waiting for us to get to that next dimension where we're vibrating at the same level of what it is we say we desire. And we're going to receive that. So are you hypervigilant, or are you in spiritual discernment? Where are you? We don't want to believe in fear. We don't want to believe in attack. We don't want to believe in scarcity. We don't want to believe in lack. Every day we have to do the dance. We have to do the beautiful dance. And once we've anchored and grounded ourselves, then what are you being vigilant for when the hypervigilance wants to tap you on the shoulder and make you afraid or aware of something not working, something not going right? Then we get right back into the beautiful dance. As Reese said, no matter what pace I'm going, I'm leading the dance. And that is it. And so one thing I want to say while we're in this year of 9, the year of completion, I want you to know this. No matter how many times you think you're back in the same place, you are not. I want you to really hear this. Some things you will appear to experience many times throughout this life experience. But what's the important thing is that you can sit through it and stay anchored and focused on your elevation. So in other words, even using myself as an example, as I often do, even me appearing to come back to a place where I never thought that I would have these numbers on me in terms of weight. I'm here, but I'm not focusing on that as much as I'm staying focused on where I'm going, my awakening. And the more you don't resist and fight and wrestle, the easier it is to come out. And you come out a little, and it appears you go back. And you come out a little, it appears you go back. But my whole purpose in bringing that up is to say this. No matter where you are, as Reese said, you want to be the one in the lead. It doesn't matter if you're 20 pounds heavier, 40 pounds heavier, 30 pounds lighter, and you don't want to be 30 pounds lighter, it doesn't matter. You're going to be in the lead. It doesn't matter if the bank account reflects zero or negative, you want to be in the lead. It doesn't matter if they broke off with you and disappointed you again, you want to be in the lead. I know sometimes it appears to knock your breath out and you be like, dang, how did I get here again? Take that minute and then breathe. And say, but I'm going to breathe through this and not allow it to preoccupy me and monopolize my time and monopolize the day. I'm going to seize the day and I'm going to continue to do what I know is right to do. All right. So let's look at this, right? So in esoteric tradition, when we talk about spiritual discernment is being able to pierce through the veil. Being able to see what's blocking. Right. Got to vibe, what you said, got to vibe high enough to reach it. Yes. And how we do that, right? Being calm, anchoring ourselves, scanning the body, coming into harmonic resonance. That is the first step. Operating and managing this nervous system. So, discernment is sensing whether something resonates with the frequency of truth, love, and divine alignment. And it doesn't require overthinking. That's what I was talking about, that suspicion and that just always discerning something evil. You're overthinking. Now, for those of you like me, and those born in our month, this is just a given. Some others have it too. But we have an unusually keen discernment, unusually keen, sharp. And it's not predicated on discerning anything or looking like overly thinking or just scanning and trying to analyze. It's not that. That discernment is just there. The minute you lay eyes, the minute you sense, the minute you hear, right? You can discern. And I told you I was really, really good at reading photographs, right? People used to just bring me pictures to just read. Many times, like I said, I could be a million miles away. The ability to sense and feel is keen. That's like my number one way of discerning is feeling and sensing, but it's also hearing and seeing. And some people are seers. And there's a difference between a seer and a prophet, right? There's a difference between a seer and a prophet. All prophets can see, but all seers may not be prophets in the sense of the office of the prophet, right? So we could see, I can hear, I can pick up things. Somebody could just simply say hello and the discernment kicks in and you could just lay it out, right? Come on, talk back to me if you have sharp, keen discernment like that. And you'll notice that it's not negative all the time. It's not negative. It is possible. Hypervigilance versus spiritual discernment. You want to be high in spiritual discernment. You want to be expanding. You want to be radiating and expressing. So here is a mantra, a declaration, right? I am divine consciousness. I am universal consciousness of love, right? In full radiation and expression. So let's say it like this. I am the universal consciousness of love, individualized and in radiant expression. I am the universal consciousness of abundance, individualized, radiating and attracting. Radiating and attracting. This is how we want to be. Not hypervigilant. You want to be in spiritual discernment, knowing that you already are. You're already a part of universal consciousness. Individualize as love, individualize as abundance, individualize as prosperity, individualize as hope, joy, whatever it is, you have it all. All right, deep breath in and exhale. Let's go another 7 days. Let's go another 7 days, all day, every day, scanning the body, pausing, taking a moment, anchoring yourself, calming yourself, taking those breaths, commanding the body to come into harmonic resonance, to calm down, come into homeostasis. All your nervous system, let it calm down. Work with it, work with it, work with it. Do those breaths and breathe and relax. Breathe and relax and know that all is well, beloved. All is well. All right, I'm going to release you with many blessings. Yes, you said, yes, my discernment is sharp at every level without effort. Absolutely. That's one of your superpowers. Absolutely. All right, lovelies, I'm releasing you with many blessings for the rest of your day. No SSL tomorrow. We're still on summer break, coming off in the fall. All right, lovely. Love you so much. Bye for now. Share this on your page. Don't forget, go back, put a comment under the bottom. I'll go back and answer. Let's get the algorithm moving. All righty. Bye for now.